Most people wake up every morning trapped in a cage they can't see, running faster every year just to stay in the same place, and they call it a career. But it's really the rat race, a system designed to keep fear in charge of your life. Robert Kiyosaki learned this lesson as a child by watching two fathers play the same game in completely different ways. One was highly educated, hardworking, respected, and always stressed about bills. The other never finished school, yet built wealth by thinking differently. And the difference wasn't luck, talent, or even money. It was mindset. The rat race begins the moment fear enters the picture. Fear of not having enough, fear of losing security, fear of looking stupid. So people do what they're told: study hard, get good grades, find a safe job, work harder, get a raise, buy a bigger house, buy a better car, take on more debt, and every raise simply increases their expenses, locking them deeper into the cycle. Money comes in, money goes out, and they spend their entire lives working for it, believing this is just how life works. But one simple question breaks the illusion. Where does your money actually go? Kiyosaki realized that most people don't fail because they don't earn enough, but because they don't understand money at all. Schools teach you how to be an employee, not how to be financially free. They never explain the most important rule of wealth: the difference between an asset and a liability. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out. That's it. No complicated formulas, no fancy terms. Yet this single definition destroys most of what people believe about wealth. The house you live in, if it drains your salary every month, it's a liability. The car you're proud of, if it eats your income with payments, insurance, and maintenance, it's a liability. The rich focus obsessively on acquiring assets that generate cash flow whether they work or not: businesses, investments, intellectual property. Meanwhile, the poor and middle class work for money and use that money to buy liabilities, convincing themselves they're assets. This is why Kiyosaki says something that sounds offensive but is brutally honest: savers are losers. In a world where money is constantly losing value, saving alone is a slow form of financial death. Inflation quietly steals purchasing power, while people feel safe watching numbers grow in a bank account. The rich don't save money to feel secure. They put money to work. They use it as a tool, not a treasure. Money that sits still is money that's dying. At the core of everything is a mindset shift that most people never make. The rich don't work for money. That doesn't mean they don't work hard. It means they don't let money control their decisions. They learn how money works so they can control it instead. When fear pushes most people to cling to security, the rich lean into learning. They're willing to look foolish. They're willing to fail. They understand that every mistake is tuition paid to the real school of wealth. Kiyosaki's rich dad taught him that if you work only for a paycheck, you're training yourself to be dependent. But if you work to learn, you gain skills that create freedom. Sales, investing, leadership, systems. These skills build assets, and assets buy time, and time is the real currency of the wealthy. The tragedy of the rat race isn't that people are lazy. It's that they're obedient. They follow rules written for a different world, one where loyalty was rewarded and pensions were guaranteed. Today, that world is gone, but the mindset remains. Rich Dad, Poor Dad isn't about getting rich quick. It's about waking up, about realizing that financial freedom starts the moment you stop asking, "How much do I earn?" and start asking, "How does my money work for me?" Because once you truly see the game, you can't unsee it. You begin to notice how fear and comfort quietly negotiate every decision people make. Fear says, "Don't try something new, you might fail." Comfort says, "Stay where you are, at least the paycheck is predictable." Together, they build invisible walls that feel safe but slowly drain your life. Rich Dad taught that this emotional trap is more dangerous than poverty itself because it convinces smart, capable people to never question the path they're on. The poor and middle class wake up each day asking one question: how can I earn more money? The rich wake up asking a completely different one: how can I buy or build an asset today? That single shift changes everything. Income becomes temporary, but assets become permanent. A job can disappear overnight. An asset keeps working long after you stop. This is why the rich reinvest first and spend later, while everyone else spends first and hopes there's something left to save. Kiyosaki explains that money is not the root of the problem. Ignorance is. People avoid money because they think it's complicated, risky, or greedy, but avoiding money doesn't protect you from it. It makes you a victim of it. The rich face money head-on. They study it, they respect it, they understand leverage, taxes, and cash flow, while others hand those decisions to employers, governments, and banks. The rat race survives because people confuse being busy with making progress. They work harder instead of smarter. They chase promotions instead of ownership. They trade time for money without realizing time is the one thing they can never get back. Rich Dad warned that the biggest risk in life is playing it safe, because safety today often means struggle tomorrow. Financial freedom doesn't arrive with a lottery win or a perfect opportunity. It begins with a decision to think differently, to stop working for money and start building systems that work for you, to accept short-term discomfort for long-term independence, to understand that wealth is not about how much money you make, but how much you keep, how hard it works for you, and how long it can survive without you. And this is the final truth Rich Dad Poor Dad leaves behind. The rat race doesn't end when you retire. It ends the moment you decide to step out of it, when you choose learning over fear, assets over liabilities, and freedom over comfort. Because in the end, the real cost of the rat race isn't money, it's your life. And once you step outside the rat race, you realize something unsettling. Most people never even knew they were allowed to leave. They spend decades believing freedom is something granted by age, by retirement, by permission. Rich Dad shattered that illusion by teaching that freedom is a skill, not a reward. And like any skill, it can be learned, but only if you're willing to question everything you were taught. Kiyosaki explains that the biggest lie about money is that hard work makes you rich. Hard work makes you tired. Knowledge makes you free. The rich understand that money flows to those who understand it, not those who chase it. That's why two people can earn the same salary and end up in completely different futures. One keeps running faster just to survive. The other quietly builds assets that grow stronger every year. The fear of losing money keeps most people trapped, but the rich are trained to manage fear, not eliminate it. They don't avoid risk, they calculate it. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They act, learn, adjust, and act again. Failure doesn't define them, it educates them. Each mistake sharpens their understanding of how the game really works. Rich Dad emphasized that money amplifies who you already are. If you're financially ignorant, more money will only create bigger problems. But if you're financially educated, even small amounts of money can grow into something powerful. That's why the journey doesn't start with cash, it starts with literacy. Understanding financial statements, understanding cash flow, understanding how taxes reward business owners and investors while punishing those who only earn salaries. Slowly, the picture becomes clear. The system isn't broken, it's working exactly as designed. It rewards those who learn the rules and punishes those who blindly follow advice meant to keep them obedient. The rat race needs workers who are too busy to think, too afraid to question, and too comfortable to change. Rich Dad Poor Dad isn't asking you to quit your job tomorrow. It's asking you to stop letting your job define your future, to use your income as fuel, not a destination, to build something that can survive without your daily presence. Because true wealth isn't measured in money, it's measured in options. And when you finally understand this, everything changes. You stop asking, when will I be free, and start asking, what asset can I build next? You stop fearing money and start mastering it. You stop running in circles and start moving forward. The rat race only exists for those who believe there's no other way. The moment you learn how money works, the race loses its power over you. And that moment, quietly and invisibly, is where real freedom begins. And freedom, once tasted, rewires the way you see the world. You begin to notice how conversations around you are filled with complaints about bosses, prices, taxes, and time, yet almost no one talks about ownership. Rich Dad believed that complaining is the language of the powerless, while learning is the language of the free. Every excuse people make is just another brick reinforcing the walls of the rat race. Kiyosaki points out that most people are one paycheck away from disaster, not because they're irresponsible, but because they were trained to depend on a single source of income. One job, one salary, one fragile stream. The rich build multiple streams not out of greed, but out of wisdom. They know stability doesn't come from one big pillar, but from many small ones working together. This is why the rich don't chase job security. There is no such thing. Companies change, economies crash, technology replaces people. Skills, however, travel with you. The ability to spot opportunities, raise capital, manage risk, and build systems becomes your real safety net. Rich Dad taught that the biggest risk in life is I can't afford it, because it shuts down thinking. The moment you replace them with how can I afford it, your mind starts working instead of surrendering. The rat race feeds on instant gratification. Buy now, pay later. Feel rich today, struggle tomorrow.
The rich delay pleasure. They understand that discipline creates freedom, while comfort creates dependency. They use debt strategically, not emotionally. They buy assets first, then let those assets pay for the luxuries everyone else buys with their future. And here's the uncomfortable truth most people avoid. If you don't build your own dream, you'll spend your life building someone else's. The rich don't hate jobs, they hate dependency. They respect work, but they respect independence more. They know that time is life, and trading all of it for money is the most expensive deal you'll ever make. Rich Dad, Poor Dad ultimately delivers a quiet warning disguised as a story. If you keep doing what everyone else is doing, you'll end up where everyone else ends up, tired, anxious, waiting for retirement to finally live. But if you choose to learn what others ignore, to think where others obey, and to build while others consume, the outcome changes. Because wealth is not about luck, it's not about intelligence, it's about choices made consistently over time. And the most important choice of all is whether you spend your life running in the rat race or whether you step back, understand the game, and walk away on your own terms.